Dick. The finale, part 1. Chapters 106 all the way to the epilogue. So, let's get started. And before I start, a new hero has rose. Yeah, classic. The classic Black Panther. But let's get started on this video. Now, Claude clearly does not like this, so I'm just going to set him down on the tabletop. Sure, so let's get started. One thing I have to say before we actually start this episode is a lot of things. And yeah, one thing here is mainly particular of everything else that I've already told you in these several episodes that I've already talked about. One most important thing I have to discuss in this episode is one thing about chapter 106, called Ahab's leg. And Ahab, this is where Ahab asks a carpenter to make him a new leg, as the one that he uses is not trustworthy. And after hitting it heavily on the boat's wooden floor when he returned from the summit entropy, Ahab feels that his leg won't continue to hold together. So, indeed, just before the Pequot sails from Nantucket, Ishmael relates that Ahab has been found lying on the ground with a whalebone leg twisted around and almost piercing his ground. So, he has to do it. And then in chapter 107, we see the carpenter at work. The carpenter, the do-it-all man, has to make Ahab a prosthetic leg. The carpenter is an able man, but he views everything, even human parts, body parts, as just machines. If you look at my Darkson episode, the human machine, then you will probably know what I mean. But yeah, compare us to robots with fluid that's like our bloodstream and a little compressor thing, like Tony Stark's little reactor, only more at the heart part and inside. The CPU, the brain, the sensors, at least the interactive sensors, the sensors of hearing, the sensors of touch, and I'm not sure about smell and taste, but if they had those, then they probably did. And more facial features, and probably we're gonna add some wigs to it eventually in the future. With less grease, that is. Yeah. And that's everything I have to really say here. So that's really much what happens. They just argue a lot and a lot and a lot in the next chapters. And finally, I'm pretty sure at least I can't handle it. Queequeg finally just asks for a coffin, a pre-made coffin, because he has a little fever. So he has to put some things in the native traditional way in the coffin, and then he just lays there, motionless, and then one day he's like, I can't die yet, there's so much to do. Lands up, drop harpoon, puts back the iron rod, let's go whaling! And everyone's like, what the? Even Ishmael. And then eventually, someone asks, the captain asks to make the coffin into a little raft, so that just in case, a lifeboat. And the carpenter was like rambling about how this coffin was being a very, very bad nuisance, was being a great nuisance to him. Like, all of his efforts are useless right now, like that stuff. And that is mainly everything that really happens, and nothing else really happens until we get to the last 3 chapters. Chapter 133, Chapter 134, and Chapter 135. All these chapters are called The Chase. Only in Chapter 133, it's called The Chase the first day. Chapter 134, The Chase the second day. Chapter 135, The Chase the third day. And then finally, we have the epilogue. So, we'll first go on with the 3 chapters called The Chase. I'll just call them The Chase chapters. So, The Chase chapter number 1. In chapter 133, they finally spot Moby-Dick, and someone like, hurry, quick! Hey, give me the balloon, Captain Ahab! No, give me the balloon! Balloon! I've spotted it at the same time! No, I'm the only one who did it! Blah, 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 blah. Hey! 300 million years later, or more accurately, a few minutes later. Okay, no one gets to the balloon until someone kills Moby-Dick! Which should probably be him anyway. But it's said that the balloon thing aside, Nah, I like my necklace. And let's set that the balloon thing aside, and they were like, hi, we have to hunt Moby-Dick. So they go hunt Moby-Dick. And this is how Captain Ahab would finally die. First of all, let's just get into chapter 134, the second chase chapter. Okay, here you go. In chapter 134, and the second day, they already repaired. They started repairing the repairs for a second battle with Moby-Dick. And they finally did that. And so round 2! No one is defeated yet. And Ishmael notes that it is not the unprecedented for whalers to give extended pursuit to a particular whale. Mainly nicknamed the white whale or Moby-Dick. And so this is what happens. Scoreboard, Moby-Dick 1. Scoreboard, Ahab's team 0. Or I guess I should say 0.5 since they at least harpooned Moby-Dick. So 1v0.5. The whale wins round 1. Ready for round 2. In round 2, there's not much really that happens here, but at least one thing happens. Dramatic pause is too long, isn't it? For one thing here that happens is that Ahab finally gets to harpoon Moby-Dick, and then he is successful in cutting the line and reshaping and undoing everything of the harpoon and so. So round 2 results: Moby-Dick .2, Ahab .1, but he suffers a -1 because his own line is the reason why Fedallah has been killed. And so at least part of Gabriel's prophecy is true. That at least Fedallah drowned. That Ahab would die right after Fedallah. Now that Fedallah's dead, that is a problem. His crewmates try to convince Ahab to stop pursuing the whale. And then he's like, no, this whale is evil. I have to kill it, or else. Wow, that's a great echo there. But at least that's one thing that has to happen. So he keeps pursuing it. His leg has been shattered during the fight with Moby-Dick. And so the carpenter hastily makes a new leg for Ahab. Hello, sleepy cat. And round 2 is over. Now, would you like to announce round 3, kitty cat? Round 3! Meow, 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 meow. Okay, translator on, please. Meow, meow, meow. Okay, so round 3. Scoreboard right now. Whale 2. Ahab 0. Wang, 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 wang. What now then? Well, here's one of the few things that really happened. Then I'm going to talk about my brothers. At least my masters. Oh, don't say master. No, I'll call you master. Okay, call me master. My own master, or should I say brothers, house. Channel. Correction. Okay, let's forget all about that. Round 3 is here, and what happens is that Ahab finally gets killed. Huh? Yeah, Ahab finally gets killed because he gets tied up in his own harpoon to Moby-Dick. Wang, 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 wang. And now the epilogue is here. Sean, over to you. Sure. Thank you, Claude the cat. Now you really want to leave, don't you? Yes, I do. Okay, translator off. Yes, I meow, 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 meow. Okay. So yeah, that's everything about Moby-Dick minus the epilogue. So now let's get into the juicy bit. The epilogue! What does the epilogue actually say, though? In the epilogue, it's only 2 paragraphs here. It's everything that happened in the epilogue is basically what already happened. Ishmael somehow gets rescued a day by a ship that is still looking for its missing crew, called the Rachel. And so, yeah, she floats on his friend Queequeg's coffin for a while. He's like, I miss Queequeg. After he gets saved, he says a lot of other things too that will really make him regret a lot of stuff. So I'm not sure who's the winner here. But I could really say that the winner is Moby-Dick. For all of the rounds, final round! The winner is dun 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 Moby-Dick. So yay, Moby-Dick. Thank you for watching the special edition episode on Hanshin-chan about Moby-Dick. Next up will be a special edition! Special edition! Yeah, I love it, Ghost. So, I hope to see you guys in the next episode. And see you then! Shalom out!